Hello, folks. Allow me just a moment. Thank you. We are beginning a major section in the prayer service every single morning throughout the days and also the weeks and the holidays of the year. This is known as the Borchu. The Borchu has two lines. It's the first line that I'm pointing to right here, and then it's the second line, and the second line is then repeated. So it's, you might say, the leader starts with their first line, the congregation responds with the second line, and the leader responds with the second line. It's called Baruch Hu because the first word ends, or the first word reads Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu literally means y'all bless. So Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach. Y'all bless God, the Blessed One. Hopefully you see inside the word Baruch Hu, a bet, a resh, a chaf, and over here inside the word Hamavorach, a vet, a resh, and a chaf. And we remember that the bet and the vet are related letters. We're not getting into the intricacies of having dot in the center, but they're related letters. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Again, the leader could be a rabbi, could be a cantor, could be any member of the congregation, as long as he or she is over the age of bar or bat mitzvah. Any person can lead any prayer service within Jewish tradition, as long as he or she is over the age of bar mitzvah and has the proper education and training. The next line is Baruch Adonai Hamivorach Le'olam Va'ed. And after the Baruch line, again, the leader says, Baruch Adonai Hamivorach Le'olam Va'ed. So again, in sequence, leader, congregation, leader. I'm going to share two melodies, one with you for the traditional ordinary prayer service, the daily, and the one for the Shabbat. So when we say the Baruch Hu, we do rise. The Baruch Hu typically refers to the first two lines, and the second line, of course, is mentioned, as I mentioned, is repeated by the leader. After the Baruch Hu itself is a blessing, and the blessing is customarily included with the Baruch Hu, so those who rise to the Baruch Hu remain standing for the blessing. And the blessing goes as follows: Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer, or uvorei choshech oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. The Baruch Hu, again, is, you might say, an invitation. Grammatically, it's a command. Y'all bless God, the Blessed One. Blessed is God, the Blessed One, forever and ever. Blessed is God, the Blessed One, forever and ever. Blessed are you, God, our God, sovereign of the universe. Yotzer, creating, who creates, or light. Uvorei choshech, and creates darkness. Oseh shalom, makes peace. Uvorei et hakol, and creates everything in the universe. So the emphasis of the Baruch Hu, the first two lines with the second line repeated, is actually on introducing us to this blessing. And the blessing reminds everybody in the synagogue or at home individually reciting this overall prayer of God's role in creating light and dark. Yotzer, or creating light, uvorei choshech, and creating dark, oseh shalom, and making peace, uvorei et hakol, and creating everything. So light and dark, which are you might say, ordinary elements in our daily reality are essential elements to our creation, but so too is shalom, peace, uvorei et hakol, and everything. And the blessing sets a tone for reminding us that having light and dark is as essential as having peace and everything. And also having peace and everything is as necessary as having light and dark. Traditionally, we rise to the Baruch Hu. And again, I'm just trying to point and bend. We have a standing posture for the Baruch Hu. And for the word Baruch Hu, we bend our knee and then bow, and then we stand up. Here's the sideways. We bend our knee, then we stand up, and we stand up before we say God's name. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Second line. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Vaed. Bottom line. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Again, this is the daily mode, it's called. Repeating. We'll go to the first line one more time. Here's the first line. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. The second line. This is the congregation responding to the leader. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. And then the leader responds. The second line. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. And then the blessing is chanted. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Yotzer Or Uvorei Choshech Oseh Shalom Uvorei Et Hakol. Yotzer Or Uvorei Choshech Oseh Shalom Uvorei Et Hakol. That's the mode, the style, the melody. In Hebrew, it's called Nusach for the daily service. And again, this introduces us to the major element, the major theme, that creation needs peace to be fulfilled. And we call out to God to bring peace into the universe, but it's also up to us to contribute peace. And peace is as much a part of daily life as everything, including light and dark and all other elements of physical reality. So that's the daily service mode. Nusach is the Hebrew term, the mode, the musical style, you might say. And it's the exact same vocabulary for the Shabbat, but the melody is just a little bit more embellished, you might say, because Shabbat's here and we're very excited about Shabbat. So again, it's the Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Congregation responds with Baruch Adonai Hamavorach La'olam Va'ed. And the leader repeats Baruch Adonai Hamavorach La'olam Va'ed. And then it's the blessing. But the melody is a little bit different. We just kind of position it here for a moment. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Second line. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Vaed. And the leader repeats. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Vaed. And the melody for the blessing itself is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Yotzer Or Uvorei Choshech Oseh Shalom Uvorei Et Hakol. So that's the Baruch Hu, and we'll stop sharing for a moment, and then I'll bring up another piece that's often chanted or shared in the morning service on Shabbat, I should say, on Shabbat. I need to reiterate that. When we're in the Shabbat mode, you might say. The theme for Shabbat, for the poetry that's happening within the framework of the Borchu and the next part of the prayer service, is always speaking of the beauty of light. What would our world be like if our entire existence was one of darkness, of void, of chaos? And this obviously brings to mind the opening element of Bereshit, the book of creation, the book of Genesis in the Torah. The focus is on chaos being brought into a sense of beauty and order and calm and purpose. That's happening in the book of creation. And we think about that every single week during Shabbos, on Shabbat, because Shabbat, of course, reminds us when we're living our own lives of the seventh day described in the book of creation of the Torah. So it's a kind of back and forth element, you might say. The Eladon is a poem. Allow me to enlarge this just a little bit. And much of the theme in Eladon speaks of beauty, creation, light, and part of the world. There are many different melodies of Eladon, and I'm going to share a little bit of one of my own, and then share a little bit of background of a couple which I found on the internet. There are many different melodies, and the point of singing the Eladon after the Borchu is just to kind of get us uplifted and thinking about what does it mean once a week on Shabbat morning to pause and sing about being part of the universe, a universe that is beautiful and glorious and unmatched. And therefore, it's the handiwork of the one and only God, who is obviously unmatched. El Adon al Kol Hama'asim Baruch, you know that word, Umevorach, you know that word, Befi Kol Nishama, Gadlo V'tuvo, Male Olam, Da'at Utvuna, Sovavim Oto, Hamit Ga'eh, Al Chayot HaKodesh, V'nedar B'chavod Al Hamerkava, Hamerkava, Zechut Umishor Lifnei Chiso, Chesed V'rachamim Lifnei Chavodo. Just one melody. El Adon al kol hama'asim baruch umvaruch b'fi kol neshama gadlo v'tuvo malei olam da'at v'tvuna sovavim moto amit ga'e al chayot hakodesh v'nedar b'chavod al hamerkava Zechut umishor lifnei chiso chesed v'rachamim lifnei chvodo. Lalas, la 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 la. Next line. Tovim ma'orot shebara Eloheinu Yitzaram Bida'at Bavina Uvhaskel Koach Ugvura Natan Bahem Liot Moshlim Bekerev Tevel Malaim Ziv Umfikim Nogah Nae Zivam Bechol Ha'olam Semechim Bitsetam Visasim Bivoam Osim Be'ema Ritzon Konam. Tove ma'orot shebara Eloheinu yitzaram bedat bevina uvaskel koach ugvura natan bahem liot moshlim bekeref tevel Malaim zivum fikim nogah na ezivam b'chol olam Samechim b'tzeitam v'sasim b'voam osim b'yema ritzon konam ya la 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 ya la 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 Pe'er v'chavod notnim lishmo sahala varina lezecher malchuto kara lashemesh vayizrach or ra'a the heat keen surat halvana shevach notnim lo kol tzeva marom tiferet ugedula seraphim va'ofanim v'chayot hakodesh pe'er v'chavod notnim lishmo tzahalavarina lezecher malchuto kara lashemesh vayizrach or ra'a v'hit keen surat halvana Shevach notnim lo kol tzeva marom tiferet ugedula seraphim va'ofanim v'chayot hakodesh la 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 la. That's a fairly traditional, fairly well-known Ashkenazi melody. Allow me one moment, and I'm going to share two portions of two short melodies that I found on the internet. Hold on one second, please. I should make this smaller so you can see it. It's called the Shalhevet Orchestra. Shalhevet Orchestra, and it looks like this, the Shalhevet Orchestra. here's another melody. Just allow me 1 second, please. Oops. 1 second, please. Let me get the melody started. And you can see this is Eladon al Kol Ma'asim. The C in parentheses, Shmulik Govari, Eladon al Kol Ma'asim, Shmulik Govari, teach and dance. A very pretty melody, and it becomes an Israeli folk dance. גודלו וטובו מעלה עולם, דעתו תבונה סובבים הודו. So I'm going to pause it for a moment. I'll bring it back to the beginning. I need to get to the video to bring up the words. So allow me 1 second again. Oops, time out. Here comes the melody.
הכל המעשים ברוך ובורח בפי כל הנשמה, גודלו וטובו מלא עולם, דעתו תבונה סובבים הודו.
אלאדון על כל המעשים ברוך ובורח בפי כל הנשמה, גודלו וטובו מלא עולם, דעתו תבונה סובבים הודו.
המתגאה על חיות הקודש ונדר בכבוד על המרכבה, זכות ומישור לפני כיסו, חסד ורחמים לכבודו. טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו, יצרם בדעת בבינה ובהשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם, להיות מושלים בקרב תבל. טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו, יצרם בדעת בבינה ובהשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם, להיות מושלים בקרב תבל. מלאים זיו ומפיקים נוג, גנאי זיוון בכל העולם, שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם, עושים באימה רצון הקונה.
So I think you have the idea, and I hope that you enjoy learning Eladon, and perhaps you'll practice the Baruch Hu for the daily service and also Shabbat morning. And until we see each other again next time, for now, shalom. Take care.